everyone, how you doing? My name is Bilikis. You're welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time of checking out this channel, you're welcome. Please make sure you subscribe and tap on the notification bell. You can also check out my other channel, Pattern Drafting with Bilikis and Bilikis Kitchen. Also on social media, Instagram, Bilikis Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovations. So now back to today's class. It will be on how to make a 6 pieces blouse and an 8 pieces blouse, which is very easy to make using just one pattern. Yes, very easy. Now looking at this is like from the previous class. Remember when we talk about how to make this stylish neckline we have here? I'm going to put a link down there. So here we have 8 pieces blouse. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. But if you're having a 6 pieces blouse, this middle panel is going to be absent. So you have 1 2 3, but the back still remains 4 because of the zipper that will be there. So now let's get started. First thing first, you need to get your pattern ready. So here I have the front pattern here. So let's quickly draft that. Then for the back, we'll do that later. So all you have to do is to insert all your vertical measurements like I have here. First, the starting line, half of the armhole, the bust point, under the bust measurement, the waist, hip, and the length of the blouse. Like the length of the blouse here is 24. The next thing is to insert your bust span measurement. I have made a series of videos on how to make a princess dart pattern. So bust span, like for me, I have a wider bust span of 9 inches. On the average is between 7.5 and 8. So half of that, you just impute it here, adding half an inch seam allowance. That is if you want to add all your seam allowance to your pattern. So you just measure it here. So for me, it is 4.5 plus half an inch. That will make it 5. Starting from the bust point, then just make a straight line till the length of the top. Now coming to half of the armhole line, you insert quarter of your bust circumference. For instance, if your bust circumference is 44, you divide that by 4, then you have 11, then you impute it here. The next thing is to connect your armhole. Now let us connect the princess. That it is not necessary or compulsory you need to have a princess that you could make use of a shoulder princess seam too. So now the next thing is to measure whatever you have here, divide it by 2, measure and connect from that point to the bust point. So having done that, now we can take in the dart. So starting from the waist, depending on how busty you are, if you are someone that is not so busty, just take half an inch on both sides of the waist here. So but if you are someone that is busty like me, so you could just make use of 1.5 to 2 inches. So for me, I will just make use of 2 inches. So 1 inch on both sides. But for me, it is okay. But for people that has a smaller bust span, when you take a whole lot of 1 inch, it's going to look funny. The waist area is going to look smaller. So you just measure half an inch first. Half here on the middle panel. And the remaining 1.5 is going to be on the other side. This works perfectly. Now coming to the under bust, you take 1/4 inch more than whatever that you have taken. So just to give it a fitting at the under the bust. But some people take the measurement of under their bust and insert. But this just works for anybody, trust me. So 1/4 inch more than this that. So since I took 1.5 here, so that means I will insert 1 3/4. And here half, it becomes 3/4. So then I will connect. Then from the waist straight to the end of the top. So this will just make it easy for you when you are sewing. Very good. So the next thing is this. So coming to this very side, we are still going to connect this, but first coming to the armhole, we need to take the dart. For someone that is not busty, half an inch on both sides is fine, or 3/4 depending on how busty you have. But for me, I will take 1 inch on both sides. One. Then I'm going to go up by 1 inch here. You could do the same for the lower part too. So connecting this lower dart, just extend it because we are going to need that, but don't extend this other one. Then I can take my armhole curve. So easy. Then here use this side. So that is formed. So having done that, now the next thing is to just finish this up. So you are going to extend this line after this armhole by 1.5. So that will cover up for the missing fabric you're going to have here. Then we are going to restructure that. Quickly, let us add our horizontal measurement. So we've added for the bust. So here we took out 2 inches, that's 2. Then we need 1/2 inch to sew up the side. So 1/2 inch on both sides, that is 1. So that makes it 3. Then 1 inch for the side seam, that makes it 4. So I'll be adding a total of 4 to the bust measurement. The waist, quarter of the waist is 9 inches. So let us consider the dart. So we took in 2 inches dart from here, that is 2. 1 inch to sew the side panels together, 3. 1 inch for side seam allowance, 4. So we'll be adding 4 inches to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 13. Then going to the hip, you need to take note of this that passed through. So just check that. I have 1/2 inch. Then quarter of the hip measurement is 11.5. So 11.5 plus half, that makes it 12. Note the 12. Now we just need 1 inch to sew the panels together. 1 inch for side seam allowance, 2. So 2 to 12 will give us 14. So first let me connect the armhole. So that's the new armhole. This is how it is. So now this is like a 2-in-1 tutorial. You could either just use this to make your normal princess dart blouse without even making it into pieces. So you can see that. So having done with that, let's quickly talk about the neckline. That depends on your preference, but let me just make use of wideness of 4 or 5 by 4. So that's what we have. Since we had the seam allowance to all others, you can just add 1/2 inch seam allowance to the shoulder. So I can just cut it out. Also first from here and this new armhole, all this dart is going to be cut off. So first this, let me see, and then the neck one. So this is what our pattern looks like. So this is all you need for your 6 pieces and 8 pieces blouse. So if you are making a 6 pieces blouse, this is what you need. But if you are not, if you are making 8 pieces blouse, just take your marker and write hard 1/2 inch. That's for those who want 8 pieces. So let's quickly go to the back. And all you need for the back is just half of your armhole, your waist, hip, and the length of the blouse. So now you can see some alteration here. I'm going to quickly explain that. So for the back, before that, all you need is just 1/2 inch on both sides. After that, then you come down by 1 inch from the armhole line, and then you connect straight into the dart. That is all for the back. Then you come to this part and extend it out by 1/2 inch and redraw the armhole. So that will cover up for the lost fabric when cutting out the darts. So haven't done that now, then add your seam allowances. So for the back here, this is the normal waist measurement, but you need, because the front is always higher than the back due to the boobs in front. So how do you adjust this now? So for somebody that is not bossy at all, maintain your waist measurement. For somebody that is a medium size, just go up by half an inch from the waistline, half an inch. But for somebody like me, I went up by 3/4 inch. So 3/4 inch is what I went up by. But somebody more bustier than high, you make use of 1 inch, but don't go higher than 1 inch. So now, since I used 3/4 inch, from that point, I now had to reconstruct my new waistline straight here into this line before the allowances. Now, after redrawing that, then I can take my dart on this new waistline. So half an inch on both sides, then you connect it to the waist and also into your armhole. So that is a tip on that. So it sits right on your waist and it doesn't make your zipper have any bulge. Now quickly to the neckline. I'm just going to make the back like 7. I made the wideness 5 for the front, so I'm going to use the same thing here. So you can decide to make use of any neckline, but have a higher one, deeper one. So half an inch. So this is the back is ready. This is the 1 inch zipper allowance. Then I'm going to cut out everything all out. So the new armhole, do that before, and then the neckline. So the patterns are ready to be sewed. So now I'm going to show you how to cut on the fabric, especially the front. On the fabric, I'm going to show you another style. For instance, this is from our last class that we made on how to make this stylish neckline. So in case you want this style, I'm going to put the link in the description box below, so you're going to see how I folded, how I cut out and do everything. So now you're looking at this, we have different neckline on each side of the panel. So I'm going to show you how to cut this for a 6 pieces and also cut this for an 8 pieces blouse. Yeah, so let's cut on the fabric. We'll be cutting the 6 pieces first for the 8 pieces. So all you have to do is to fold the fabric enough. So first I'll start by drawing a straight line. So since this is a 6 pieces, so this middle panel will be on fold, because we should be having 3 pieces for the front and 4 pieces for the back. So the next thing is to measure. If it is a 6 pieces dress, you can make use of 9 inches flare or 8.5. That totally depends on the amount of fabric and how wide you want the flare to be. So between 8 to 9 is okay. 8.5 to 9 is okay. After doing that, I'm going to connect straight to the waist. This is the waist. So now I'm going to cut everything out. But before that, there's an alteration I have to make. So I'm just going to go up by 1.5, 1/4 to 1.5. So let me just make use of 1/4 or 1.5. And from that part, you make a straight line to the end of the pattern. So it's going to make it even. You won't have any unnecessary evenness. So it's only the flare will be adding because we've added all the seam allowance to the pattern. done this with this. Let's keep this aside and quickly learn how to cut for the side. Side. So all I did was to make a straight line and then measure, depending on the flare you want, between 8.5 to 9 on both sides, and then connect to the waist. And don't forget the 1.5 or 1.25. So coming up also is going to make the flare shorter. So that's why you can do up to 9, depending on how much fabric. And make sure you try as much as possible to save your fabric. In case you are interested in a more detailed video on how to cut, how to sew step by step, how to fold the fabric, you can join our online classes, Advanced Class 1, which was totally on 6 pieces and 8 pieces blouse. I'm just going to cut it off. Now the pieces are ready, so let us see what we have done. So what do we have? We have a 6 pieces blouse. Can you see that? So that was pretty easy to make. Can you see? So we have 3, 1, 2, 3. So like for the back, it is the same process for both 6 pieces and 8 pieces to cut for the back. So this is the front, 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to show you how to cut this stylish one for a 6 pieces dress, to have this particular one in the middle. Cutting this type for a 6 pieces, make sure you spread it out, unlike how we just cut for 1/2 of the pattern. So for this style, this is how you're going to place it, then extend it from the waist down, and don't forget to come up by 1.25. So that is how you're going to cut for this particular style. So now let's go to how to cut the 8 pieces for the front panel and also for this. So for this very one, we'll have to slit this into 2. If I'm cutting for 8 pieces, it has to be cut into 2. So with the crease, I know. So the 8 pieces, this is what we are going to be having, because this middle panel must have a flare. Then don't forget, add 1/2 inch. Also here, add 1/2 inch. But if it is just the same neckline, we need just 1 piece. 8 pieces. So all I did was to place it on the fabric. The fabric is on fold because we need 2 pieces for the center and 1 on each side to make it 4. So remember I told you to add 1/2 inch. So all you have to do is to add 1/2 inch to this pattern, unlike the 6 pieces where we have this on fold here. But no, 1/2 inch, then 8 inches. For these 8 pieces, I made use of 8 inches. While for the 6 pieces, I made use of 9 inches. So 8 inches for this, or 7, depending on the fabric you have at hand. So having done that, then you come up by 1.25 to 1.5, connect it to the edge of the pattern, and then you cut it out. Then you have your 8 pieces blouse. So you make this fast straight. Okay. 8 pieces. So when you open it up, this is what you're going to have. Can you see that? So you use that ½ an inch we added to sew this up and still have your flare at the end of the blouse. Can you see that? So that is it on how to cut the 8 pieces. Then when you cut the side, so you're going to cut the side the same way we did initially and had the 8 inches. And then when this is cut on fold, you have one here, so that makes it for 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how to cut for 8 pieces. Now for the other one, how do you do that? Let me quickly show you. When you are cutting it, unlike for this, remember when we are cutting this, it was on fold, one fabric on top of each other. But for this very one, no, you won't make it like that because we have different neckline, so you can't cut it together. So you cut this separately, adding 8 inches here, 8 inches on just a plain fabric, not folded fabric, for both pattern. Then this also on a plain fabric, had your 8 inches here, 8 inches here, and then you have your 2 panels with different neckline. So it won't be on fold, unlike how we folded this. So that's just the difference. So let's quickly go to the back. So the back is the same for both the 6 pieces and the 8 pieces blouse. Things to look like. So you can see, just place the pattern on fold. It has to be on fold. This other one will be on fold. And then if it is for, the only difference is the flare. For a 6 pieces, you want it to be more, like 9 inches. For 8 inches, between 7.5 to 8 is fine. That's the only difference. Then I'm just going to cut it out. Then also, for this very one too, I'm just going to place it, add 8 inches or 9 inches for the sides and cut it up. So then you have for the back panel. Back panel looks like for both the 6 pieces and 8 pieces. Both will be cut on fold. So you have here. So the zipper is going to be here. And on this. So for 6 pieces, 8 pieces, this is how the back is going to look like. So you can see that. So since you know this is the back for both the front and the back, so I'm going to show you the 6 pieces and the 8 pieces again. 8 pieces looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, then 4 for the back, and then you have 8. Then if you have different neckline, I've shown you how to cut that. Then now for the 6 pieces, the difference is just the middle and the flare. So this is what you have for 6 pieces. So with just one pattern, you have your 6 pieces and 8 pieces pattern. I'm sure you have learned how to cut the 6 pieces and 8 pieces pattern today. Cutting it is very, very easy, but you need some technicalities when you are sewing it, how to use your stay to, give it some stability, how to add crinoline to just bring out that beautiful effect. But if you are interested in more detailed video on how to cut, how to sew it step by step, you can join our online classes through the contact number in the description box below. So if this tutorial has been helpful, please give me a giant thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I remain your girl, Bilikis. Bye.